So in this video, I'm going to go over an aggravating conversation I've had 100 times. So I was just in a group with 16 other people who struggled with addiction. Now, I've been sober for years, and a lot of these people have other illnesses. Like one of these patients seems just like my mother. She wants a drug, and she wants to make up illnesses, and she thinks she's like some doctor when she doesn't eat. She's not even allowed to nurse anymore thanks to her drug habit. So she's not even allowed to nurse anymore, yet she has a child, and she thinks that she can control their medicines and their doctor. I see my mother in that patient. But anyways, in this conversation before, I have brought up my struggles. Now keep in mind, I have gone to the doctors for years now, like 20 more years, but we'll say just recently while I've been in New Hampshire, we've gone to the doctors for over 5 years. We've gone to the emergency room, we've gone to the doctors, we've gone to the Department of Health and Human Services, we've gone to a central service that's supposed to help you with paperwork, we've gone to another company that's supposed to help with housing and rent and stuff like that, we've gone to another company that was supposed to help me with Social Security and cash benefits. I've also gone to 5 other doctors on top of my primary care specialist. That's a neurologist, GI specialist, that's urologist, stuff like that I'm trying to start, as well as I'm working a job while getting injured, what I shouldn't be doing. Out of everything that I should be doing, working is one of the things I should not be doing. But I'm doing it because the city has told me that I have to. The doctors have told me I have to. The emergency room told me I had to. They said they are not writing any paperwork until they see me, and then it takes a year for them to spend 5 minutes to look at something. So that's not happening. So instead, what we have to do is we got to get me on Social Security and cash benefits and get my past records, present records. We got to get doctors to look at my injuries. Now, what have I done? People go, oh my God, you're really hurt and you can't walk. You should go to the doctors and hospital. I have. Oh, you need Social Security. You need to go to Social Security and Department of Health and Human Services. I have for over 12 years. What? And then, because they come up, everybody has a solution. Zach, all you got to do is go down to get Social Security. I have. All you got to do, Zach, is go to the doctor. I have hundreds of times. All you need to do, Zach, is get a specialist. I have. All you got to do, Zach, is go to the emergency room. I have. And then after I give them all this, I've done everything I'm supposed to. I've done everything that is possibly can be done to help this condition, to help my shakes, seizures, falls on the side of the road, the numbness, the bleeding all over the place, the fact I have to crawl across busy traffic to get into the doctor on my hands and knees like a child. I have gone for year after 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 year, spending all my free time at doctors' offices and agencies and talking to professionals and different agencies and doing everything that's possible I can. I've even crawled across cement while bleeding into my testicles to get into these doctors. I have done everything. I have pushed my body to the limit to get better. But when people hear this, I have gone to the emergency room. I have gone to the Department of Health and Human Services. I have gone to Social Security. Then they go, well, why don't you have Social Security? It's obvious from the way you look and the way I've seen you for years now that you need it. Why haven't the doctors done anything? It's obvious that you can't walk. Why haven't the doctors done anything? It's obvious that you're bleeding and you're hurt. Why hasn't the emergency room given you paperwork for work? Why the hell does your do not lift order say you're excused from gym class? Why didn't they do further testing? This is what I get as a conversation, and the only answer I have is the doctors did not want to do their jobs. My mother decided to commit a crime. She made a mistake. She accidentally caused an overdose and destroyed my brain and nervous system from the age of 5 all the way up. She didn't want anybody to know about this. So when I started speaking up about it in doctor's offices at the age of 5, 6, and 7, she started taking evasive action. My file, my medical file, is basically set up to prevent me from ever getting medical care for this. Whenever, and don't forget, also doctors suck. A lot of times they want to take the easy way out. So I come into the office. I got visible blood in my testicles, or I got visible black urine, that they're separated, but they both happened. Or maybe I've seized for 25 years, shook, and we got hundreds of hospital and emergency records from Lowell. Maybe my boss is seeing me fall down at work. Maybe I'm crawling across the cement to get into the office. Maybe I'm using canes to get around. Maybe I just got picked up off the cement unconscious last week. Maybe the ER and ambulances keep on picking me up. Whatever it is, maybe I keep on going to the doctor and they see it with their own eyeballs. But see, as soon as they look at my file, they look at my mother's fantasy and it gives them an easy way out. Let's just bill this kid. Let's just bill him. Let's send him away and let's take his money. Let's send him away and take his money. And then if anybody asks any questions, we'll say, well, look at his file. It says he's a mental patient. It says we're not supposed to listen to him. And that's what doctors continuously do. I go to the emergency room and they release me before I should ever be released. I'll give you multiple examples of that. I was in Lowell. At the time, I had no idea why I was waking up with no shoes and wallet in the emergency room. But this is what happened. I was leaving a guy's house, went down a flight of stairs where it was bright. I got outside. Now, this was on top of a bar, but there was apartments up there, lots of them. I was staying in somebody's apartment, hanging out during the day. It was time for me to go home to my place. So I went down the flight of stairs, took a right, got to the crosswalk where there's traffic. Now, it was completely night out, dark out. Maybe 8 o'clock at night. Now, the traffic light says, please wait your turn. So I do. And I look to my right, I look to my left, and I'm looking for my right. Now, there's cars going at me with their headlights, flashing at me. Also, it's very chilly out. It's about maybe fall and nighttime. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden, I wake up in a hospital bed with no shoes, no wallet, or one shoe. I can't remember if it was no shoes or one shoe. No wallet, nothing. So, when the police officer comes in, he just harasses me. He asks me, what happened? Now, I don't know what happened. I just woke up, and all I know is I was crossing the street. So I tell the officer, I don't know what happened. Then he starts calling me a liar and saying I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, no, something happened to you. You just don't want to tell me. No, I want to tell you. I'm just woke up in a fucking hospital bed with no memory of why. With head injuries, too. I got scratches all over my head and body. I'm all bruised up, not knowing what the hell. And I fell on the sidewalk, not the road. So I tell the officer, well, I was just about to cross the road. I guess a car hit me. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. Now, this is in the moment as soon as I woke up. I just woke up in the hospital bed. I no longer have my shoes. I don't got my wallet. I'm all caught up and bruised. And all I remember was crossing a road. So at this point, all I tell the officer is I was crossing a sidewalk. It said, please wait. There was flashing lights. Maybe I crossed and a car hit me. I don't know. I really don't know, officer. He gets all fed up, gets mad, walks out of there. Then about an hour later, they start releasing me. An officer just comes in and goes, oh, I don't know what happened, but due to the evidence on the scene, we think you were robbed. That's it. And they give me a piece of paper, and then the hospital starts releasing me. Now, I can't see. I can't walk. My vision looks like I'm drunk side to side because I have a severe head injury and I just had a seizure. I have a concussion for sure as well. My head's bloody. It's very sure there's a concussion. And I can't walk either. When I try to stand up, I stumble and fall onto the floor. The nurses help me up. Then you hear the doctor go, get him out of here. So at this point, they try to get me out. I go, I can't walk. I'm going to fall. And I do fall. I fall. Then I fall in front of the hospital. Then the two security guards, the two people try to pick me up and throw me off the property. I fall again. Now I'm on the ground stuck and I'm just getting mad, taking off my belt, whipping it around mad, saying, you motherfuckers, I can't even get up. What are you going to do? Leave me in this fucking road? I don't know what's going on with me and you're leaving me here to die? What the fuck is wrong with you people? At this point, they hit me. They take the belt, whack me, push me, and then I try to crawl my way out of there. Now, I'm in a gurney, too. I'm not in regular clothing. All I have is my pants and a gurney over. Now, I can't walk, so I keep falling. People are worried, and two people ask to call an ambulance. I tell them, they're the people who just released me like this. And they go, that can't be. Yes, it actually is. That's exactly what happened. Now, So I continue walking. I get past Dunkin' Donuts and I fall into the wall, but I catch myself. Somebody starts grabbing my arm and helping me walk, or somebody who knew me. So they start walking me home, and they get to me to a certain point where the Bank of America ATM is across the TD Bank. At this point, they end up letting me go. I stumble my way almost partly home. At this point, there's a rock wall I'm holding on to trying to go. I'm trying to walk, but somehow I slip my balance and my head hits the rock wall again that's already concussed, that's already all bloody, and then I fall to the ground. I wait there for about 20 minutes before I try to keep going. Now I keep going. I eventually get to my open window, but I can't go around the building. I am too sick to make the last couple feet. So I stick something up and I start banging up the window. I think it was a stick. My roommate comes over and he says, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And he helps me in. At this point, he helps me in and I rest for about 3 weeks in bed. Now, I have a concussion. My brain shouldn't be resting. But this has happened several times where I've been sent to the emergency room in emergency condition and I leave in even worse emergency condition. Now, this has happened up here as well. I had a seizure in the bedroom. I ended up bleeding all over the wall. Now, this one I know was a seizure because of the symptoms beforehand, and now I have more documentation. I have more experience with my 25 years of this going on. So there's blood on the wall. My head gets split open on the table because I fall. My head hits the table, and I just seize. There is a thing that happens. I could go into it separately. There is a problem that happens while I am in bedridden condition, bleeding on the ground. Somebody tries to take advantage of my condition, but they don't. They try, but they don't. Then at 3, now I've been begging, I'm screaming for an ambulance. I can't dial a phone after like 24, 48 hours of being left there to bleed. A 50-year-old mentally retarded man with the mental capacity of a 7-year-old, or I should say mentally disabled man, but severely, severely mentally disabled, is the only one smart enough to get me to the hospital. Now, he drops me off at the hospital, but he can't make any sense, and I can't talk or move properly, and I'm bleeding all over the place. My head looks like Frankenstein as well. Half my face is swollen out like Frankenstein. So, at this point, what do the doctors do? They release me again. They run maybe like 1 or 2 x-rays and then they release me without further care. My head looks like Frankenstein. I'm reporting a sexual encounter, or at least my friend is reporting a sexual encounter, and they're asking me about it. And you got all this going on. And what do? Nothing. They do an x-ray and release me without the ability to walk. So then I'm in the waiting room, bleeding all over the place. My face looks like Frankenstein, and I have to ask the nurses to dial the phone to get me home because I can't dial the phone. This is so wrong that I'm in that waiting room, bleeding all over the floor, not able to stand up, not able to walk, not able to see, not able to do anything. I can't dial a phone to get home, and yet they're telling me to go home. This is very obvious. And don't think that this is like somebody faking. This is so obvious that everybody around me, the people who find me on the road, I'm bloody, my face is swollen out like crazy. I've sent a picture to my aunt and she said, "Oh my God, that's Frankenstein." Yeah. Yes, it is. You can see this. It doesn't take any rocket scientist, but see, here's the difference. If you're walking down the street and you see me in this condition, you will know to get me help. But as soon as I get sent to the doctors, my mother's paperwork gets involved. That's where people mess up. They don't know what my mother did. My mother spent 15 years creating medical records that prevent me from getting medical care. She also created fraudulent medical records to cause more damage to my body and get me drugged for conditions that don't exist. So even though a perfectly normal person on the street can see I'm in need of emergency care, even though a nurse in the waiting room can perfectly see I'm in need of emergency care, the doctor's looking in my file and wants the easy way out. This is a hard case to take. So as soon as he walks in the room, sees me all bloody, sees me that I can't see, my eyes aren't responding, I can't walk, I can't move, I can't talk right, he looks in my file, sees my mother's bullshit, and she goes, "Oh, let's just release him. This is a psych case. This isn't for us to handle." It is, because it has nothing to do with psychiatric conditions. It has to do with the fall, me bleeding, my face being swollen, the lack of ability to walk, stuff like that. None of those are psychiatric. But yet, as soon as they get my name, before they even see me, they already have pre-notions about what they're going to do. Because my mother has already made sure for 15 years, I know this for sure, they treated me like this at 10, they treated me like this at 15, they treated me like this at 18, they treated me like this at 22, and every single time it goes back to my mother's paperwork. And it's partly my fault for feeding into her fantasy. I was 5 years old. I didn't know it was a fantasy. I thought it was true. I thought if your girlfriend broke up with you and you were crying about it, that was depression. I thought that winning a swimming medal, I did something wrong. If I worked hard and won a medal, I must have done something seriously wrong. I thought that from age 5 to about 8. I thought my accomplishments were wrong. I thought if I won a medal and worked real hard for something, I did something wrong. I'm not even kidding. My mother turned that into I'm attachment disorder, I'm a liar, I'm a thief. Not only that, then she turns like to, for instance, schizophrenia. Like back as a child, I wondered, is playing with action figures a sign of schizophrenic behavior? I really believe that because my mother yelled at me and told me I needed to tell my doctor that I was hearing voices even though I wasn't. I don't know why my mother went on these rants. She went on them over and over to doctors from age 5 to 20. She would go into a doctor. The doctor would tell her, no, your child does not have schizophrenia. Well, I want him on the medicine. Your child does not have it. Plus, don't forget, my adopted mother was starting to say this right when she met me. I wasn't born with her. She didn't spend any time getting to know me. Right from the beginning, she just went in the mental illnesses. Let's establish mental illnesses. Let's get him pills. Not only that, keep in mind that my mother thought it was okay to give extra medicine as punishments. My mother thought that poisoning their child and causing permanent damage to the stomach and esophagus was okay to do as a punishment. My mother literally gave me a full bottle of Ipecac. Full bottle. Extra. Lots of extra medicine as nothing more than a punishment. At the age of 5, 6, 7. Now this continued all the way up to my teenage years. Now that's not concerning. I mean, I'm over the mental part of that. I'm over the PTSD. I spent the time. I'm working with other people to make a support group. But here's the important fact. The doctors are still basing their health care off of her fantasies. Every time I go to the doctor, they look at what she said as honest truths. They look at a dead, crazy woman's statements who was manipulating and doing awful things as what they should base their health care off of. So I constantly get hurt. Constantly.